Far away from Earth, in a galaxy full of stars, there was a beautiful planet called Zorin. The people of Zorin were very different from humans. They had tall bodies with blue skin that shined under their bright sun. Their eyes glowed softly, and their voices had a calm, musical sound. Zorin was ruled by a wise and strong queen named Zara. She was loved by her people for her kindness and her courage. But the laws of Zorin were very strict. One rule was clear and strong. No one from Zorin was allowed to love or marry a human. Humans were seen as weak and strange. The Council of Elders, who made the rules, believed that mixing with humans would bring danger to their people. One calm morning, something unexpected happened. A small spaceship appeared in the sky and crashed into the deep green forest outside the city. The sound of the crash woke many people, including Queen Zara. Curious and worried, she went to see what had happened. Near the smoking wreckage, she found a man. He looked tired and weak. His skin was pale and his clothes were strange. He was a human, and his name was Liam. He had come from a far planet called Earth, but his ship had broken, and he was lost. Queen Zara felt something strange inside her. She could see fear and hope in Liam's eyes. Without hesitation, she helped him. She brought him to her palace and gave him food and water. Liam was grateful and smiled softly. Over the days, they talked a lot. Liam told Zara about Earth, the blue oceans, green forests, and tall buildings filled with light. Zara told Liam about Zorin, its blue skies, tall trees, and strong people. Their friendship grew. Zara was amazed by Liam's stories. Liam was impressed by Zara's kindness. They laughed together, shared meals, and slowly their feelings grew deeper. But not everyone was happy. The Council of Elders soon heard that their queen was spending time with a human. They called Zara to a meeting. "Queen Zara," said Elder Marin, the oldest and strictest of the council. "You know our laws. No Zorin may love a human. It is forbidden. You must stop this now or face the consequences." Zara looked at them with steady eyes. "I have learned to see humans differently. Liam is kind, brave, and true. I cannot stop caring for him." The council was angry. "You have broken our law," Elder Marin said sharply. "For this, you must be banished from Zorin." Banishment was the worst punishment. It meant Zara had to leave her throne, her people, and everything she loved. The people would forget her, and she would live alone, far away. Zara felt pain, but she stood strong. "If loving Liam means leaving, then I accept my fate." The news spread quickly. The people were shocked. Some felt sad for their queen. Others felt betrayed. On the day of her banishment, Zara walked through the city one last time. The sky was clear, but her heart was heavy. She carried only a small bag and a simple cloak. Liam was waiting for her outside the city gates. They looked at each other with love and sadness. "We will make a new life," Zara said softly. Liam nodded. "Together, we can face anything." They left the city and the bright towers of Zorin behind. Their ship took them far, to a quiet and peaceful planet where no one knew their names. There, Zara and Liam built a small home. The planet was green and full of life. Birds sang in the trees, and clear rivers flowed through the valleys. For the first time in a long while, Zara felt peace. Years passed. Zara and Liam lived simply but happily. They shared stories, learned from each other, and loved without fear. One day, Zara told Liam, "Our love has grown stronger than any law. I want to have a child who carries both our worlds inside them." Liam smiled. "A child who will show that love is more powerful than fear." Soon, their wish came true. Zara gave birth to a son. They named him Nico. Nico was special. He had his mother's blue skin and his father's warm eyes. He was strong and curious, eager to learn about both Earth and Zoran. Zara and Liam taught him to be proud of who he was, but far away on Zoran, the council whispered about Zara and her child. Some were afraid of the future. Some wanted to forget the queen who had loved a human. The story of forbidden love was only just beginning. The quiet planet where Zara and Liam made their new home was called Solara. It was a small world with blue skies, soft green hills, and tall trees that whispered in the wind. The air smelled fresh and clean. Here, Zara and Liam hoped to live in peace, far away from the strict rules and angry voices of Zoran. Zara often looked at the stars at night. She missed her home, but knew she had to be strong for Liam and their son, Nico. The little boy was full of energy and wonder. From the moment he learned to walk, he wanted to explore everything around him. He loved to run through the fields, chase the small birds, and ask endless questions. "Why is the sky blue?" Nico would ask, his bright eyes wide with curiosity. "Because the air scatters sunlight," Liam explained patiently, smiling at his son's eagerness. Zara taught Nico about her world, too. "Zoran is a place where people have blue skin like me. We live in tall cities and follow many traditions. But not all traditions are good. Some make people afraid of others." Nico listened carefully. He wanted to understand both his parents' worlds. Liam showed Nico pictures of Earth. There were tall buildings, big oceans, and animals of all shapes and sizes. Nico loved seeing the animals. "I want to see a tiger someday," he said excitedly. Zara smiled. "One day, maybe you will." Life on Solara was peaceful, but it was not always easy. Zara had once been a queen, used to power and respect. Now she was a mother, a wife, and an exile. She worked in the small garden they had built, growing fruits and vegetables. Liam helped fix things around their home and taught Nico to read and write. They were happy, but sometimes Zara felt lonely. She missed the people of Zoran and wondered if they would ever accept her again. She kept her crown hidden in a small box, a reminder of a past she could not return to, for now. Nico grew quickly. He was a clever child, with a strong heart and a bright mind. He asked about the laws of Zoran often. "Why can't people love who they want?" he asked his mother one evening as they sat by the fire. Zara sighed. "Because fear can make people cruel, but love is stronger than fear." One day, while playing near the river, Nico found a small, shiny stone. It glowed with a soft blue light. When he showed it to his parents, Zara's eyes widened. "This stone is from Zoran," she said softly. "It is rare and powerful." Liam looked at the stone carefully. "Maybe it is a sign." Zara took the stone and held it close. She felt hope growing inside her. Maybe this was a message from her people, or a sign that things could change. Far away, on Zoran, the council was not quiet. The elders argued about the queen's exile and the child she had. Some wanted to forget Zara completely, but others whispered that the child might be important one day. "Her son is different," said Elder Marin. "He may bring change whether we want it or not." The alien world was changing, even if the council did not see it yet. Back on Solara, Nico's curiosity grew. He wanted to know everything about both his parents' worlds. Zara and Liam worked hard to teach him, knowing that one day he might need to stand strong in a world that did not fully accept him. Nico began training with Liam in basic defense and with Zara in the old ways of Zorin, using strength and mind together. He learned to control his blue energy, a gift from his mother's people and the creative thinking of his father. One evening, as the three sat watching the twin moons rise, Nico spoke with quiet determination. "I want to see Zorin one day. I want to meet the people there. Maybe I can help them understand." Zara smiled sadly. "That is a brave wish, Nico. But it will not be easy. Many will not accept you." Liam put his hand on Nico's shoulder. "We will be with you, no matter what." Years passed. Nico grew taller and stronger. The story of his parents' love and exile became a quiet legend on Solara. Zara and Liam never stopped hoping that one day their family could return to Zorin, not as outcasts, but as a bridge between two worlds. And somewhere in the stars, the alien queen waited. She waited for the day she could meet her grandchild, the son who carried the future of both worlds in his heart. Far across the stars, the planet Zorin thrived under the rule of the Council of Elders. The cities shone with silver towers, and the streets were filled with busy people. But beneath the bright surface, trouble was growing. A dark shadow appeared at the edge of the galaxy. A powerful enemy race called the Vraxian had begun to move toward Zorin's system. They were fierce and strong, with ships that could destroy entire cities. The Council of Elders watched the news with worry. Elder Marin called an urgent meeting. The room was filled with tense faces and worried voices. "We must prepare," Marin said. "The Vraxian will not stop until they take our planet, but our armies are small," another elder said. "We need more strength. Where can we find it?" Someone spoke quietly from the corner. "There is one who might help us, Queen Zara, the Exile. She knows our people and our ways. We need her wisdom." The room went silent. No one wanted to admit that the banished queen might be the answer. Finally, Elder Marin spoke again. "If we do not ask for her help, we may lose everything. We must send a message." The council sent a secret ship to find Zara. They hoped she was still alive and willing to return. Meanwhile, on Solara, Zara was unaware of the danger. She lived peacefully, with Liam and Nico, teaching her son about their history and culture. Nico had grown tall and strong, and his eyes shone with determination. One evening, as the family sat around their small fire, a bright light appeared in the sky. A ship descended, silent and fast. Zara and Liam stood quickly, their hearts beating fast. The ship landed softly nearby, and a figure stepped out. It was a young messenger from Zorin. "Queen Zara," the messenger said respectfully, "the council calls for you. Our world faces a great threat. We need your help." Zara looked at Liam and Nico. She knew the risk. Going back to Zorin might mean facing old pain and fear, but the safety of her people was important. "I will go," she said quietly. "For my home and for our future." Nico stood tall. I will go with you. I want to help. Liam nodded. We will all face this together. Back on Zorin, the news of Zara's possible return spread quickly. Many were surprised. Some were hopeful. Others were still angry. The council prepared for war. The Vraxin ships were closing in. Zara's knowledge of the planet and its people could be the key to saving Zorin. When Zara, Liam, and Nico arrived, the city was tense and quiet. Zara's old friends looked at her with mixed feelings. Some welcomed her, others turned away. The council met with Zara. She shared her plans to unite the people and fight the Vraxin. She spoke of courage, hope, and change. Nico watched closely. He saw the pain in his mother's eyes and the strength in her voice. We must stand together, Zara said. Not as old enemies, but as one people. The council agreed to give Zara a chance. The war was coming, and they needed every hand. Zara and Nico began training with the soldiers. Nico showed unusual strength and skill, his mixed heritage giving him unique powers. As the enemy drew closer, Zara knew the hardest battles were still ahead, not just against the Vraxin, but against fear and doubt. The story of the banished queen and her human son was no longer just a tale of love. It was now a story of hope for a new tomorrow. Far across the stars, the planet Zorin thrived under the rule of the Council of Elders. The cities shone with silver towers, and the streets were filled with busy people. But beneath the bright surface, trouble was growing. A dark shadow appeared. At the edge of the galaxy, a powerful enemy race called the Vraxin had begun to move toward Zorin's system. They were fierce and strong, with ships that could destroy entire cities. The Council of Elders watched the news with worry. Elder Marin called an urgent meeting. The room was filled with tense faces and worried voices. We must prepare, Marin said. The Vraxin will not stop until they take our planet. But our armies are small, another elder said. We need more strength. Where can we find it? Someone spoke quietly from the corner. There is one who might help us, Queen Zara the Exile. She knows our people and our ways. We need her wisdom. The room went silent. No one wanted to admit that the banished queen might be the answer. Finally, Elder Marin spoke again. If we do not ask for her help, we may lose everything. We must send a message. The council sent a secret ship to find Zara. They hoped she was still alive and willing to return. Meanwhile, on Solara, Zara was unaware of the danger. She lived peacefully, with Liam and Nico, teaching her son about their history and culture. Nico had grown tall and strong, and his eyes shone with determination. One evening, as the family sat around their small fire, a bright light appeared in the sky. A ship descended, silent and fast. Zara and Liam stood quickly, their hearts beating fast. The ship landed softly nearby, and a figure stepped out. It was a young messenger from Zorin. Queen Zara, the messenger said respectfully, the council calls for you. Our world faces a great threat. We need your help. Zara looked at Liam and Nico. She knew the risk. Going back to Zorin might mean facing old pain and fear, but the safety of her people was important. I will go, she said quietly. For my home, and for our future. Nico stood tall. I will go with you. I want to help. Liam nodded. We will all face this together. Back on Zorin, the news of Zara's possible return spread quickly. Many were surprised. Some were hopeful. Others were still angry. The council prepared for war. The Vraxan ships were closing in. Zara's knowledge of the planet and its people could be the key to saving Zorin. When Zara, Liam, and Nico arrived, the city was tense and quiet. Zara's old friends looked at her with mixed feelings. Some welcomed her, others turned away. The Scifi council met with Zara. She shared her plans to unite the people and fight the Vraxan. She spoke of courage, hope, and change. Nico watched closely. He saw the pain in his mother's eyes and the strength in her voice. "We must stand together," Zara said. "Not as old enemies, but as one people." The council agreed to give Zara a chance. The war was coming, and they needed every hand. Zara and Nico began training with the soldiers. Nico showed unusual strength and skill, his mixed heritage giving him unique powers. As the enemy drew closer, Zara knew the hardest battles were still ahead. Not just against the Vraxan, but against fear and doubt. The story of the banished queen and her human son was no longer just a tale of love. It was now a story of hope for a new tomorrow. The alien city was filled with nervous whispers. Zara and Nico had returned, but not everyone was ready to accept them. Some still remembered the queen's exile and feared what her son, who was half human, might bring to Zorin. Nico felt the eyes of many people on him. He was different. His blue skin showed his mother's people, but his warm smile and bright eyes reminded others of humans. Some looked at him with curiosity, others with suspicion. Despite the cold stares, Nico stood, tall. He had learned from his parents to be proud of who he was. Zara had taught him, "Being different is a strength. It is what makes you special." Nico wanted to prove himself, not just to the people of Zorin, but to himself. He wanted to show that he could help save the planet and bring peace between the worlds. The threat of the Vraxan grew closer. Their dark ships hovered near the borders of Zorin's space. The council was preparing soldiers, weapons, and defenses, but many doubted they could win against such a powerful enemy. Nico knew he had to act. One day he asked his mother, "How? Can I help? How can I make the people believe in me?" Zara smiled. "You must show them your courage. Lead by example. Sometimes words are not enough." Nico began training harder. He worked with the soldiers, learning their ways. He practiced with his mother to control his special energy, the blue light that flowed through his veins. It was a power few had ever seen, a gift from the union of human and Zorin blood. At first, some soldiers laughed or ignored him. "Is only half Zorin," they said. "He is not one of us." But Nico did not give up. He helped during drills and showed bravery in small fights against training enemies. Slowly, people started to notice. One day, an important test came. The Vraxan sent a small attack team to one of the outer colonies. The colony's defenders were few and scared. Nico volunteered to join the fight. The battle was fierce. The Vraxan were strong and fast. Nico fought bravely, using his special powers to protect the colony. He shielded soldiers from attacks with a glowing blue barrier and used his strength to push back the enemy. The defenders won the battle. Many soldiers praised Nico's courage. News of Nico's bravery spread quickly. People began to see him not as a half-human outsider, but as a protector of Zorin. Back in the city, Zara worked to unite the council and the people. She spoke about the power of love and courage. She told stories of her exile and the family she had built with Liam and Nico. Some council members still doubted her, but many were inspired by her strength and honesty. Zara knew the true battle was not just against the Vraxen, but against the fear inside the hearts of her people. One evening, as Zara and Nico stood on a balcony overlooking the city, Nico said, "Mother, I want to help more. I want to be a leader." Zara looked at him proudly. "You already are, Nico. Your heart is strong. That is what matters most." The day came when the Vraxen launched their full attack. The skies filled with ships, and the ground shook with the sound of battle. Zara and Nico stood with the soldiers ready to fight for their home. The people of Zorin had begun to believe in them. Nico led a group of young fighters, using his courage and powers to protect the city. Zara gave commands and helped plan strategies. The fight was long and hard, but the courage of the people, led by Zara and Nico, shone brighter than fear. Together they showed that love and unity could overcome even the darkest enemy. The battle against the Vraxen had changed everything. Zara and Nico's courage had inspired many, but the war was not yet over. The city still carried fear in its heart, and many eyes watched the young Nico with mixed feelings. Some saw him as a hero, but others still hesitated to accept the son of a human and an alien queen. After the battle, Nico felt a deep need to bring his family back together. He wanted to meet his grandmother, the queen who had once ruled Zorin, the one who had been banished for loving a human. But the council was divided. Many did not want Zara to return to the throne. Others were afraid of what Nico's presence might mean for their future. The old laws still held power, and old wounds were slow to heal. Nico knew that if he wanted to change minds, he had to show everyone who he really was. Not just the son of Zara and Liam, but a bridge between two worlds. One day, Nico requested a meeting with Queen Zara's mother, the current ruling queen. The council was surprised, but agreed. They wanted to see what the boy was truly like. Nico arrived at the Grand Palace, feeling the weight of many eyes on him. The halls were tall and bright, decorated with ancient symbols of Zorin's history. He walked carefully, remembering all that his mother had taught him. When the queen finally appeared, she was older and proud. Her blue skin shone softly under the palace lights. She looked at Nico with curiosity and a touch of sadness. "Welcome, Nico," she said quietly. "I have heard much about you." Nico bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I come with hope, for peace and understanding." The queen studied him carefully. "You carry the blood of two worlds. That is both a gift and a challenge." Nico nodded. "I want to help Zorin and Earth live in peace. I want to show that love is stronger than fear." The queen saw the strength in his eyes. She remembered her daughter Zara, the brave woman who had been banished for love. Now in Nico, she saw the future. She decided to trust him. Over the following days, Nico spent time with the queen and the council. He shared stories of his life with Zara and Liam on Solara. He told them about the battles he had fought and the lessons he had learned. Slowly, the queen began to change. She saw that Nico was not a threat, but a hope for a better future. One evening, the queen invited Nico to a private garden in the palace. The stars shone brightly above, and the air was filled with the scent of flowers. "Nico," she said softly, "your mother was a brave queen. She made a choice that cost her everything. but she did it for love. Nico smiled. I am proud of her. I want to make her proud too. The queen reached out and placed her hand on his shoulder. You have a special role to play. You can unite our worlds in a way no one else can. Nico felt a warmth in his heart. For the first time, he felt truly accepted by his people. But the road ahead was still hard. Not everyone agreed with the Queen's new hope. Some whispered in dark halls, afraid of change. Nico knew he had to be ready for anything. He was no longer just a boy from exile. He was the son of a queen and a human. He was a symbol of a new future. With the Queen's trust, Nico began to gather support. He spoke to the people, sharing stories of love, courage, and unity. He showed them that being different was not a weakness, but a strength. Slowly, the city began to change. The fear that had held people back started to fade. Nico knew this was only the beginning. The real battle was not just against the Vraxen, but against old fears and old laws. But with the Queen by his side, and the love of his family in his heart, Nico was ready. The future was waiting. The skies over Zorin were heavy with the threat of war. The Vraxen fleet was closing in, their ships dark and menacing against the bright stars. The people of Zorin were afraid. Many had never seen such a powerful enemy before. Zara, Nico, and the Queen worked tirelessly. They knew that to protect their world they needed more than weapons. They needed the people's trust and unity. Nico stood before a large crowd in the city square. His blue skin gleamed under the sun, and his eyes shone with determination. The crowd was large but restless. Some still whispered doubts. Others watched quietly. Nico raised his hand and spoke clearly. People of Zorin, our home is in danger. The Vraxen want to destroy everything we love. But we are stronger than they think. He told the story of his parents, the queen who loved a human and was banished, and the man who stood by her side. He spoke of love, courage, and the power of unity. For too long, fear has divided us. But now we must stand together, as one people, one family. Slowly the crowd began to listen. Some nodded. Others looked hopeful. Zara joined Nico on the stage. She smiled and said, Nico is right. Our strength comes from our differences. Our power comes from our hearts. The Queen watched from nearby, her face softening with pride. Together they organized training for the people. Soldiers and citizens worked side by side. Nico led groups, teaching them how to use both strength and strategy. He shared his special abilities, showing how being part human and part Zorin gave him unique skills. As the days passed, the city's spirit grew. The people began to believe that they could win, but the Vraxen did not wait. Their fleet appeared suddenly, blocking the planet's main spaceports. Ships crashed and explosions lit the skies. Zara and Nico fought alongside the soldiers. Nico's energy shield saved many lives. His courage inspired even the most doubtful. In one fierce battle, Nico faced a Vraxen commander. The enemy was strong and fast, but Nico used his quick thinking and strength to outsmart him. The commander fell, and the Vraxen retreated. The victory was small but important. It showed the people that they could fight back. Back in the palace, the Queen spoke to the council. We must change our ways. We must open our hearts and minds to new ideas and new people. This war will not be won by strength alone, but by unity. Some council members agreed, others still hesitated. but the Queen's voice was strong. The war continued, but the people of Zorin were no longer divided. They fought as one. Nico looked at the stars each night, thinking of his father Liam and the quiet planet Solara, where they had once lived in peace. He knew the battle was not only for Zorin, but for the future of both worlds. With his mother and the Queen by his side, Nico was ready to face whatever came next.